again, it's one of those Man United overpaying for a player.
Manchester United would need to offload players if they were going to sanction this deal.
This guy in the future is going to be off the scale.
Do you think that?
The Man United are perhaps where Arsenal were 2-3 years ago.
I'm sure there's an inch goes on his height in every story I read, as every week goes on.
Yeah, he'll be 6'10" by the time
exactly.
he comes to United.
Yeah.
90 million, 80 million. It could end up being a massive bargain for this guy.
Hello, welcome to Transfers Exposed. I'm Will Pugh. That next to me is Jordan Davies, football reporter for The Sun. Great to have you with us, Jordan.
Great to be here, Will. This is your exclusive press pass for all the hottest transfer stories straight from the Sun Sport news desk.
Exactly that, mate. We're here, of course, every Tuesday and Thursday until the transfer window slams shut on September the 1st, bringing you all of those major deals.
In this video, we're going to talk all things Man United, from the interest in Baleba to the latest on Benjamin Sesko and where Christian Eriksen could end up next.
Absolutely, mate. And we are fresh off the back of a huge win on Transfers Exposed. Son Heung-min signed for LAFC for £20 million, as we exclusively revealed on Transfers Exposed on July the 24th. That was, so props to us, I think, is
props
the...
to us. Yeah,
exactly
big
that,
up
mate. Yeah. Dean Scoggins all over that one from a Tottenham perspective. But we are here, Jordan, to talk about Manchester United. On the back page of The Sun this morning, Grilla blow, right? Now, it's another story, the latest mini chapter in the Benjamin Sesko saga. How's Isaac Barbecue Snubbers cops sell to make new bid? And the blow bit at the bottom, £78.5 million Sesko ops for Man United over Toon. Carlos Baleba, I want to talk about first of all. This is quite an interesting bit of a left field one. There's been reports elsewhere recently that Manchester United have made contact with Baleba's camp. You'll know this. Obviously, you're all over the Arsenal news for The Sun all the time. You know that these days so many transfers get done and agreed between club and players camp first, and then they do the admin bit of actually making a bid. The latest we know about Baleba at the moment is that there's been talks between United and his camp. Brighton have got no intention really of sanctioning a sale this summer. 90 million quid it would need to be before they even thought about doing a deal. Obviously Caicedo, they let go to Chelsea. He's kind of made that departure almost sort of like they haven't noticed, basically, have they? He stepped up to the plate. United, of course, would need to sell before they considered sanctioning such a move. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think it'd be an incredible move. I mean, you think of Manchester United now and what they've been lacking in their midfield in terms of dynamism, pace, power.
Yep.
He's got the lot. I mean, other clubs have been looking at him. Arsenal had a big interest in him, alongside Basuma as well when he was there. We were looking into midfielders, but you look at Arsenal midfield now and they've got so much competition, so they kind of moved away from that. But no, it'd be a fantastic move for Man United, and one that I think they want to get over the line. But again, it's one of those Man United overpaying for a player. And could it be the case? Are they going to pay too much for a player they want, or could they negotiate it down? They haven't been that good at negotiating down deals previously, so I do worry that they could overspend on a player that is very good. But there's still we're still talking about potential rather than actual world-class talent. Yeah,
that's the intriguing thing we've been talking about with Sesko. I had Jack Rosser in here next to me on Tuesday, an able replacement, I would say, by the way, Jordan, for Jack, who's far too busy, apparently, to come and do a return shift. I don't think the money was good enough for him. I think that's just, Is
it not?
He commands the big wages, isn't he? Yeah. But Baleba's 21 years of age. He's got 3 years left on his deal at Brighton, so you can understand they're well within their rights to dig their heels in and accept 90 million. They're such good sellers, aren't they, that cash flow's not been a problem for them whatsoever, and it puts them in that good position. Clubs also know that they're likely to churn out another replacement if they do let him go, not prepared to do so this window unless the money is obscene. Do you think that, obviously all the focus is on Sesko, which we'll talk about in a minute, there are those saying that, okay, yeah, we need a striker, however, there are other areas of the team which need improving. If you're a United fan, do you feel midfield is one of them?
Yeah, I mean, ironically, I know Sesko is the big one, but you look at their attacking lineup right now, you could get by, and Ruben Amorim could work with that and make it better without Sesko if it suddenly doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Midfield's a massive one. I know Mason Mount's been improving in pre-season, and they've got like Kobe Mainu and Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte, but he would just add something different. And if you're looking for, I think Man United fans, they want the here and now, but they want to plan for the future as well. This guy in the future is going to be off the scale, and actually 90 million, 80 million, it could end up being a massive bargain for this guy if he suddenly has an amazing season at Brighton this season, which he probably will. Yeah. And then suddenly we're talking Caicedo levels of 115, 120 million, which sounds mad for such a young kid, but that's where we're at now.
Yeah, and the thing is, Chelsea have proved that, haven't they? With their the sort of new transfer strategy these days of big clubs is actually people are looking to buy a lot younger now than they were. I know Arsenal have broken that mould slightly. Gyokeres 27, is he?
27,
I think. Yeah. They've broken that mould slightly because they're kind of buying oven ready, right?
Well, because they're at a different stage, I guess. And Man United are perhaps where Arsenal were 2-3 years ago when Arteta needed to bring in younger players. And I feel like Amorim, yes, he wants here and now, and he has to improve from last season, but you have to start building somewhere. You have to kind of rip away the foundations and start with some young, good talent, which is what Arsenal did, and look where they are now. And that's should be the blueprint for United going forward, and he would be a fantastic start.
Well, with the Sesko deal expecting to be done, Manchester United would need to offload players if they were going to sanction this deal. It will be a little bit further in the window, we understand, at Sunsport, if it's going to happen. And of course, we mention it every single time we talk about Man United, Jordan. They've still got the bomb squad to get rid of. Tyrell Malacia, Jadon Sancho, Anthony. They're still sitting there doing all the training, earning lots of money. And Garnacho, of course, on those players they want to get rid of. So United will be focusing on that, of course. But look, Benjamin Sesko here, the intro, Charlie Wyatt writing on the back page this morning that, Benjamin Sesko has indicated he wants to join Manchester United. Now, we've been reporting at The Sun, Charlie's been across it, Martin, Blackburn, of course, up north, that Benjamin Sesko would prefer a move to Manchester United. If it was a choice between the two and the terms were the same, he would have always preferred a move to Manchester United. Lots of eyebrows raised.
Which in itself is a mad statement, but that's
Do you find that?
That's where United. Yeah, that's where United.
Just because of the Champions League thing, or?
I mean, yeah. Well, and he's choosing United because of the brand. He's not choosing United because of the club and where they're at. And he can't see United and think they're going to be challenging for the title in the next 2 or 3 years. He's joining them because it's a brand, it's a historical club that might get better. Basically, United will explode again, and they will get back to where they were at some point.
Do you think that?
At some point, they must do.
Because of the money.
Just because of the money they've thrown at it, and just the club they are, the size they are. I'm not going to say it's Manchester United, like every pundit does, but I'm going to say it's Manchester United. Yeah. And every player who joins there thinks, what if this is the time?
What if I'm the man?
What if I'm the man? Yeah. Matthias Cunha's done it. And like, I feel like he thinks he's quite an arrogant kid, and that's in a really good way. Not criticism at all. He's a young kid. I met him out in the Euros when England were playing Slovenia, and he's, well, other than being a humongous man freak.
I'm sure there's an inch goes on his height in every story I read as every week goes on.
Yeah, he'll be 6'10" by the time he joins United. But he really believes in himself, and I think he thinks that whatever club he joins, he thought it was Arsenal at the start of the window. He thought that's the club I'm going to be in. But now it's United, and he really thinks that he can change United and be the man, be that Wayne Rooney, Van Nistelrooy and Ronaldo-esque impact player, which and we'll see. I mean, plenty of players have thought that and crashed and burned.
Talk to me, Jordan, about what happened at Arsenal. I discussed it a little bit with Jack on Tuesday, but you know the comings and goings, the insides and outs at Arsenal, having covered them so brilliantly for The Sun for quite some time now. Just give us a bit of an insight into what happened earlier in the window, because lots of the reports we've spoken about extensively on Transfers Exposed was that Sesko, of the two of them early in the window, was just about Arsenal's number one priority. I don't know if you've got a slightly different understanding of that, but talk to us about your understanding of what happened and what stopped that deal from going ahead and why they went to Gyokeres.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of the season, well, I mean, from January onwards, we've been reporting that, it's either one of the two, and I've lost count amount of times I've written a piece saying Gyokeres or Sesko or Gyokeres, and I've almost got bored of writing their names. And but we know that last summer they really wanted him, and they couldn't get a deal done.
Yeah.
And a bit like with Zubamendi, when they couldn't get him, they thought, well, we will wait a year, and then we'll get him then.
Yeah.
And that's what they were thinking. And then in January, with the injuries, they thought, we'll go for him again.
Yeah.
Again, couldn't get a deal with the line, and they wanted with Watkins as well, and they wanted a loan plus money. But Leipzig at the time was still going for Champions League, so it was up in the air.
Not the right time for them to sell. Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, and so coming towards the end of the season and the start of the window, it was Sesko or Gyokeres.
Yeah.
What I understand is that Arteta was the one pushing for Sesko because, again, he's a project manager. He likes to build a team and build for the future, and he saw him as one who could only elevate, and his price value would go up. So if, for any instance, he then left in the future, they can get some money for him because Arsenal now think like that.
Yeah.
And they just saw him as the one, and then suddenly Andrea Berta comes in, the new sporting director, in
Placing
March,
Edu,
placing Edu.
Yeah.
And Andrea Berta tried to get Gyokeres when he was at Atletico Madrid.
Right.
Last season.
Yeah.
So there were these two kind of viewpoints of Arteta saying, what about age and what about potential? And Berta saying, well, what about kind of
let's
here and now, let's win now, let's score goals. He scored 97 goals in 102 games. Gyokeres, that's nothing to be sniffed at.
Yeah.
And
Sesko's numbers nowhere near as impressive.
Nowhere near as
impressive. I think last season it was 21 goals and 6 assists in 45 games in all competitions,
which isn't bad.
No,
but it's just dwarfed by Gyokeres, and so I think
easier league, to be fair. You would argue the Portuguese league easier league than the Bundesliga.
Well, I'd like to see any of us try and score
goals in 102.
Quite. But I do agree. But what Berta did really well this summer is which Edu didn't do at Arsenal, which is he played off players against themselves. So he carried on negotiations with two clubs simultaneously, so that you've got a plan B if something doesn't happen. So when there were talks with Sesko, there were issues with add-ons and personal terms and his agent getting involved. So they then veered slightly more towards Gyokeres, and Gyokeres was a deal that they felt was easier to get done, and it was more of a guarantee because he had been in England before, albeit not very, very successful, but he had been in England before. Yeah. So that's where they sort of veered away from it, and in another world, had one negotiation gone differently, this man could be at Arsenal right now. But Man United seem to be pouncing on that, and they're going to get a very good striker if they do get him.
But early this window, as far as you're aware, the money was quite a big factor as well.
Money a big factor.
As in why he didn't go to Arsenal.
Personal terms as well. And, there's all kind of agent commissions and stuff like that involved, which was also involved in Gyokeres as well. There's a lot of kind of to and fro.
Yeah. Didn't Gyokeres ditch his agent? Or no, not ditch his agent, sorry. He had to sacrifice an agent around the 10 million quid fee or something like that?
The 10 million, so Gyokeres, I believe, had to sacrifice something from his contract, and also the agent had to sacrifice his 10% commission fee on the deal, which was a big kind of to and fro, and they weren't really sure they were going to do it, and which is why Arsenal kept Sesko in the loop, because had Gyokeres broken down, they could have then gone back to Sesko. So again, in another world, he could have been starting at the Emirates Cup on Wednesday against Villarreal, but instead Gyokeres, the biggie, which we won't talk about.
Right, just to wrap up on the Man United section, Jordan, Christian Eriksen, Burnley have approached his camp about a move not very far down the road, really, is it? Turf Moor from Old Trafford.
No.
That classic one that you do in transfers analysis. Normally when a player who used to play for Chelsea is in contention to sign for Fulham or Brentford, you have to go, well, he wouldn't have to move house.
No,
he wouldn't have to move house. He rejected Wrexham, a free transfer to there. 33 years of age, Christian Eriksen. Didn't exactly rip up trees at Manchester United. Did okay. 5 goals and 6 assists in all competitions last season across 35 appearances. Obviously, not a great deal of those were starts. He's already rejected that move to Wrexham, like I said. Do you think that's a good move?
I do, in terms of just the experience he brings and kind of being in the Premier League. And I think he was... At United, I think he was kind of harshly criticised for I think he was expected to bring a lot more, and he is kind of 30 plus, and I know we don't like saying that about just he's quite young as a person, but as a footballer he's 30 plus, and he's not who he once was, and obviously with the health issues, and so I think a lot was expected of him at United, but going into a team where he can be that experienced role, that leader and a playmaker, which is kind of what you need in the Premier League. You need someone to get the ball down and play, and you've seen kind of Brentford signing the likes of Jordan Henderson and Sunderland with Granit Xhaka.
I was just thinking
you need that player in the middle who, when things are going wrong, let's all come back, let's all sit, and we can all kind of let's get the ball and spray passes. And I think he's perfect, and kind of for set pieces as well. I think it's a really smart buy.
Yeah, just a bit of experience and now. So I really like that one you mentioned about Granit Xhaka. I think that's an absolutely brilliant signing from Sunderland.
I mean, a lot of yellow cards. A lot of yellow cards.
But then, you know what? You'll need a bit of that. They've spent 120 million plus, I think, Sunderland so far. They're clearly desperate to stay on in the Premier League. They're trying to break that pattern at the moment of the promoted teams just dropping straight back out of it again. But lots of the players they've signed, limited Premier League experience and limited Premier League experience currently in their squad.
Yeah.
But Granit Xhaka, I think that's an absolutely brilliant move, and you sense that he said that's a nice little link up, I feel, Scott Parker and Christian Eriksen. Whether or not it'll be quite enough to keep them in the league remains to be seen. But that much will come out in the wash in no time.